sit?
We'll stand.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Coach Franklin, on behalf of the Virgo Fiesta Bowl, I'm the chair, Judy Burness, Eric Moses, our executive director. We are so excited to welcome you all the way from Happy Valley to the Valley of the Sun, where Penn State is already 7-0 in the Fiesta Bowl. So, let's see what we can do this time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Look forward to
we
seeing
look
you
forward
out.
to it as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Start with an opening statement from Coach, then raise your hand and we'll get a mic to you.
So like always, I want to thank you guys for covering Penn State football. We appreciate that, and we don't take it for granted. And I don't just come in and say that each week. I mean it. I want to thank the fans. It was phenomenal. The environment was phenomenal. The turnout was unbelievable. We have the second largest stadium in college football, fourth largest stadium in the world, and 99% of the stadium was filled up with our fans, and it made a huge difference. A lot of the other games had some built-in advantages in terms of the distance between the two teams. So the fact that we filled that thing up with 106,000 fans, predominantly all of ours, is significant. And I don't want that to come off the wrong way. I got a ton of respect for SMU. I got a ton of respect for Coach Lashley. But it was impactful today, and it's really like that all the time. From the spring game with 75,000 plus all the way through this season, we get tremendous support, and we don't take that for granted. So fans, alumni, lettermen, the community, phenomenal. And again, we don't take that for granted. Just because I don't want to forget this at the end, our women's volleyball program and Katie, they're playing for the national championship tomorrow. We wish them all the luck in the world. They've had an unbelievable season, obviously, and that game, that they played where they were down by 2 and came back 3 sets was just crazy. So, I think that's one of the special things about being at Penn State. There's so many sports and so many coaches that are thriving. Big part of that is our leadership with Pat Kraft and Neely Bendapudi. So we don't take that for granted whatsoever, but we'll be screaming and hollering and watching and supporting Katie and our women's volleyball program. Kind of summarizing the game, maybe the best performance on the defensive side of the ball that I've seen in a half. We talk about 3 interceptions, 2 for touchdowns. That's why you recruit linebackers that played running back. That was phenomenal, and took a little bit time for our offense to get going, but obviously once we did some great things. Specifically, got the run game going, which was important for us. 12 wins in a season for the 4th time in school history, joining the 1973, 1986, and 1994 teams. 33 wins over the last 3 seasons. 2nd time in program history. Last time that was done is 1971 to 1973. So, ton of cool stuff to be proud of. You look at the stats that we focus on. The takeaway battle was big. 3 turnovers to 1. Explosive play battle, we won that. 3rd down battle, we won that. We tied the sack battle. The penalty battle, we won. That's a whole nother conversation. And then the middle 8, we won the middle 8. So, ton of cool stuff. I can go on and on and on. But we got a team win, led from our defense in the beginning of the game. But at the end of the game, it was a team win. Offense, defense, and special teams. So, look forward to answering you guys' questions. And again, I appreciate the coverage that you guys have given us all year. Open up the questions.
Start with Rich to your right.
James, on your right. What is it about Dom DeLuca, who seems to have a knack of stepping up at the appropriate time? And is that something that you saw in him when you recruited him?
Yeah, Dom's he's a baller. You're talking about a guy who was Pennsylvania Player of the Year, won a state championship on a torn ACL, gray-shirted to be able to come here, came as a walk-on, earned a scholarship, and what a shame that there may not be more stories like this in college football with the 105 rule. Dom DeLuca may not happen at Penn State. So I love Dom and Mom and Dad. I think he's a tremendous example for all of our players on the team. He's got a smile on his face. He's appreciative. He works his tail off. Trusted us when we talked about the positions that we wanted to play him. And whatever role we've asked him to do, he's done it 100 miles an hour. So there's a ton of changes in college football, but this is one of these that I'm struggling with because there's been so many special stories over the years of walk-ons, whether they've earned a scholarship or not. They've been just such a significant part of the game and our history. So it breaks my heart a little bit that maybe Dom isn't here, if these rules were in place. So just a tremendous young man. He's a captain. He's awesome. He's awesome.
Go Andrew on the left here.
Coach, over here, I also wanted to ask about Dom. I believe after he had surgery on his knee in high school, he called you very emotional. You told him he'd be back bigger, stronger, better than ever. What does it mean for you now to watch him then have this kind of moment in this stage?
Yeah, it's awesome, right? We talk about the journey a lot in our program, and everybody's journey is different. Everybody's race is different, and you got to run your race and maximize the opportunities that you get. And I think he's a great example of that. And I think it's obviously also, the medical team that we have here. This isn't the old days. You can come back from these things better than ever before. And Wayne Sebastianelli does a phenomenal job for our student athletes. And, I think Dom's a great example of that. But I love the guy. I love the guys in that locker room. I said it to them in there, and I'll say it again. One of the, in my opinion, one of the few places left where it's a real college football program in there. It's a real college football program in there, and a college football program that everybody should be proud of because those guys are doing it the right way, and at a time where it's more challenging than it's ever been. These guys put the team first. They put their teammates first. They sacrifice. A lot of distractions right now, and these guys could have played for Penn State in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, and the 60s. No disrespect to the 50s, but they could have played there too. But I'm proud to be their head football coach.
Brendan, then Allie.
James, on your first defensive series, there seemed to be some miscommunication and some emotions running pretty high. What flipped that you guys were able to kind of rebound from that and then just play so dominantly the rest of the way?
First of all, they're good. They're very, very good on offense. And I don't know if he is or not, but that quarterback, I think he's related to Lamar Jackson. Like, that's how he plays. That's how we felt about him on film. He is a dynamic, scary athlete. Combine that with the tempo that they're going extremely fast. One of the things that I think happens sometimes that I don't think necessarily people understand is different conferences, how quickly they spot the ball, the tempo of the game. It's different. That's why when you get to these bowl games and things like that, it can be very, very different in how the game is managed. And I don't mean that as a knock on anybody. I'm just telling you, it was fast today. Combination of them and how they run their offense and what they do did a great job. And we need to get settled down. We didn't face that a whole lot this year. We tried to simulate it in practice by going good on good, But it's one thing to go 6 plays doing it. It's another thing to do it, against that type of team who does it for a living. And obviously their head coach does a phenomenal job with it, and that's his reputation. So we just had to get the guys settled down, get their cleats in the ground, get the calls in, execute the calls. And then once we did that, then, I thought although we didn't get him on the ground as many times as I think we could have, we impacted him dramatically. And I thought, like, even the one that Smith-Vilbert had where he didn't make the sack, but he kept contained. He did not allow the guy to get outside, kept him in the pocket. He just kept running around. Those things were huge. Our pass rush lanes were disciplined and productive today, and we needed that against one of the more dynamic quarterbacks in the country.
James, you just mentioned the other generations of Penn State players that have come before.
In the generation of greatness uniform.
There it is. But I think when it comes to making history at a place like Penn State, it's so difficult. You just got your 100th win. I think when you think about the magnitude of this moment for pushing this program forward, can you comment on how big getting your first win in the college football playoff is for this program, where you guys are in the recruiting battles and college football in general, just the emotions of something like that? This team clearly makes you emotional.
Yeah, I think what I would say is I remember in training camp just talking to the guys about, like, I wanted these type of moments for them. I want them to experience what it's like to win a Big Ten championship and play in that type of game and in that stadium and in that environment. Obviously, talk about, battling like everybody in the country to try to either get a bye-in week 1 or a home game. We were able to do that. To watch Sal leaving the field today, like he was taking the moment in. It's his last game at Beaver Stadium. He's played here for 9, 10, 11 years, however long he's been here. And he didn't want to leave the field. And not an emotional guy. He's emotional. It's emotional for all of us. A lot of college coaches I saw this week talking about, this is a 4-game season. It's not. It's a 1-game season with an average of 65 plays on offense, 65 plays on defense, and 20 plays on special teams. And how you value those reps and how you prepare for those reps would give you an opportunity to play again. And we're in a 1-game season. And we just extended our season 1 more game, 65 more plays. I think we got 10 days or whatever it may be. And every one of them is like gold. And not only that, I also want them to get some time with their families for Christmas. You're trying to balance all of those things. These guys are going through it for, the freshmen for the first time, but even the vets, depending on what bowl game we played in, depending on the time of the year. Another New Year's 6 game, we've played in a bunch of them. Dramatic pause, just so everybody can take that in. We played in a bunch of them. My family, we're used to spending Christmas in hotels. Not everybody is. So we got to do whatever we got to do to put ourselves in the best position to win this game. But I also want to be respectful and thoughtful of these guys' families and the holidays as well. And we got a good plan for that. So, I appreciate you bringing up the 100 wins and all that kind of stuff. But to me, I'm at a point in my career, it's all about the players. It's all about the players, the staff. It's cool. Terry Smith, been there for every single one of them. Chuck Losey, every single one of them. So cool.
Last 2, Neil and then Tyler.
James, 4th and 1 from your 19.
Kevin Threlkill, Andy Frank, every single one of them.
4th and 1 from your 19. You went
Shocker,
for it.
this guy.
Yeah, well, sorry. I thought it was a
Anybody
big play.
shocked by this?
And what effect do you think that had that you were able to defend that afterwards?
Yeah, we fumbled the snap. That's why we didn't pick it up. But that was huge, right? I told the guys we were going to call the game aggressively on offense, defense, and special teams. I wanted them to play aggressively. I wanted Tom Allen and Andy Kotelnicki and Justin Lustig to call the game aggressively. Don't play on your heels, play on your toes. So we get 4th and 1. I can't say that all week long and then not do it. When you pick it up, it's a great call. When you don't pick it up, it's a bad call. I bet you were tweeting your tail off up there. But the guys had the decisions back, and we were able to get it done. Obviously, huge plays in the game. We got to be able to pick up 4th and 1, and I'd call it again. I'd call it again.
Hey, James. Back here, center.
Yep.
Katron and Nick both over 6 yards per carry again. Do you feel that collectively combined they are playing their most effective football of this 2024 season? And if that's the case, or even if it's just about the case, what does that do for you that they're peaking at this point entering the playoffs?
Yeah, it took us a little time to get going on offense and specifically in the run game. But then we got it going, and those two guys are fast. They are big. They're both 220-pound backs, and they're violent. And that one run where Nick scored a touchdown, I don't know if you guys heard it, but it was violent. And he came off, and I'd said, that was a violent run. And he screamed at me and used some words that I can't use in this setting. And he said, I'm a violent man. And I kind of agreed with him and backed up. But, they're playing behind an offensive line. It takes a ton of pride in doing their jobs for them. So it's cool. I love to see all these guys get opportunities and make plays. Get opportunities to make plays and to win and have success because they work so hard. You guys know this is a grind. We have turned college football into a grind. Used to talk about the difference between college and the NFL. It's essentially the same now. And it's a grind on the coaches. It's a grind on the players. It's a grind on the staff. It's a grind on the wives and the kids. So to see them have success is to me what it's all about.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. All right. We'll do very brief opening statements for each coordinator, and then we'll roll right into questions. Raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you.
I don't have an opening statement. You said that was part of the process as we just get to the questions.
Everybody's good.
Questions.
And then we'll go to Pickle.
This is for Tom. Tom, can you describe Dom DeLuca's knack for making big plays at the right time? He's done it throughout his career, and how have you seen that in your season here?
Yeah, what a testament to his grit and toughness and coming here as a walk-on and just earning a scholarship and becoming a really, really good player for us. And you talked about just the savviness. He's one of the smartest players I've ever coached, and he spends so much time studying, preparing. He anticipates really, really well. Obviously, the huge takeaway and 2 picks and 1 for a touchdown that were just so monumental today. But I just think that you study the game, which he does. He has great awareness and just the ability to, like you said, anticipate. But I think the film study helps with that. But more than anything, he's a gifted player. He really is, and he's a guy that has come up big for us, and he's been so consistent each and every week. So I'm just so proud of him. He deserves all the credit he gets.
We'll go Pickle, and then we'll go to Brennan.
This question's for Andy, right here in the middle. You guys ran for 189 yards today, 3 touchdowns, and both your starting Nick and Katron both had 6.4 yards per carry against one of the better rush defenses in the country. Why did that work so well for you guys today?
Well, one, we've talked a lot in the past about, their abilities and how hard they run and the way they've been complementing each other so well up front or in the run game. But then it starts up front. And I think James probably had commented in here, if you get, but like these games and this kind of weather, this time of year you need to win up front. Like we need to have great O-line and D-line play. You know what I mean? And that's how we're going to continue to advance. And so I think we did a great job blocking it. It wasn't always perfect, but as we started getting into the second quarter and you could see those runs were starting to get a little bit bigger, and we kind of talked at halftime about, hey, listen, we're gonna go into the second half here and we're going to lean on them. And if you're running the ball well, gains of 2 and 3 in the first quarter turn to gains of 4 and 5 and 6 in the second, and they turn into gains of 10 and 12 in the third and fourth, and that's kind of what happened. So I was very pleased with that.
Brennan and then Mason.
Andy, over here, when you decide to go for it on 4th and 1 at the 22 or whatever it was, what kind of message do you think that sends the offense? And then when you don't get it and the defense comes up with that sort of play, how big is that in the course of a game?
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think James talks all the time about playing complementary football. And, we got to have each other's backs in this situation. And so we talk about playing to win as opposed to playing not to lose. Those mentalities are two totally different. And James makes the call to go for it, make a call. It doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work. But then to turn around and have the defense get a critical stop, to swing the momentum back, it's a huge deal. That's what complementary football is. And so to answer your question, it's the mentality of playing to win, right? Let's not play on our heels. Let's not play reactive football, knowing that when there is adversity, our championship football team is going to respond, and really in any of the phases of the game.
Mason, and then we'll go to Max.
Tom over here. Obviously, Dom DeLuca was the one that sealed the deal with those 2 interceptions. But what did it take for the secondary and even the front seven to kind of put it all together, to kind of confuse Jennings and help create those opportunities for interceptions?
Yeah, it's a total team effort. Just so proud of our guys. We challenged them this week to be the reason why. We knew it was going to be a game where the tempo is challenging, and they've given lots of people trouble, and they've run the ball really well and thrown the ball really well and scored a lot of points. And so they got a lot of really good, talented players, especially at the skill positions. And that quarterback's, he's tough to deal with, So it started up front. Coach just said it. We challenged our D-line the whole week leading up to it. Our linebackers to stop the run and then pressure the quarterback. And he's one of those guys where when you pressure him, you got to be careful what you get when you pressure him, And so it was about leveraging him. It was also leveraging him with layers. Because if you don't have any layers, he's going to make that first guy miss most of the time. So just so proud of our D-line. We got a few sacks but constant pressure. And then the secondary, we had to be able to do some disguise and give some different looks and play some man, play some zone, make him look like, each one. And then you do that with tempo, it can be challenging. Sometimes you just got to get your cleats in the ground, and it's a win. So just a collective effort, all 3 levels. Just really proud of our guys. Just feel really blessed and very thankful.
Max and then Flounder.
Andy in the middle here. I know it'll get a little overshadowed, but Gronk finally made his debut today. Obviously, the interception on his first pass, but he came back with a completion. Just how do you feel he handled the moment, and how much comfort do you have in him moving forward?
I think he handled the moment fine. You know what I mean? There was no adaptation of what we had to call or anything like that. He was prepared all week to go into the game like we would expect, right? I think, anytime that you're the backup quarterback or the third-string quarterback, you need to prepare like you're the starter, and he does that. And I thought he went in and handled it well. You know what I mean? You probably want that throw to be a little more on the body or hand it off, but, it happens, right? And so you go back out there, you get it out of the way, and you respond to adversity. It's a little bit what I said before about how it is football. I mean, it's playoff football, so it ain't going to go perfect the whole game, and you're going to have to respond to when things aren't going well. And what he did in that to allow us to go out there and chew some more time up off the clock, it kind of really exemplifies how today went, I thought.
Bob and then Audrey.
Andy, how you doing over here on your left? Right here. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
I was going to ask you about the other Penn State quarterback, Drew. Good defense you went up against today. Conditions probably weren't optimum, maybe to throw the ball. How did you see him play today? And it looked like it maybe took him just a little bit of time to get going. How did you evaluate Drew?
Yeah, without watching film, and I whatever, I didn't even see statistically how it was, but in the second half we joked. I don't know if I hardly called the pass in the third quarter when he was out there, and I think that one drive I I think we ran the ball all the way down the field, which is awesome. That's what we want to be able to do in a game like that. So, yes, weather conditions aren't great. They're not optimal. They're ripping around. That's playoff football. That's the way it is. There's no excuses to really not execute in any capacity. But I would tell you one thing, that's not going to show up on the stats is how many times he is our leader and the straw that stirs the drink, how many times he puts us in the right play. We had a lot of run checks in the game plan. For him to put us in the right play and get us in situations that are favorable, allow our guys to execute, that's a big part of being a quarterback as well.
Hey, Andy, to your right. You mentioned playing not to lose, and James told us that all week he wanted you guys to call the game aggressively. What does that mean for you to kind of have that opportunity? And was there any surprise or hesitation on that 4th and 1 when he's telling you, "Hey, we're going for this"?
No, zero. He was totally on the board with, "Go for it." Okay, you know what I mean? It's that simple. And he communicates, frequently throughout the drives of what he's thinking, you know what I mean, and when he thinks we might be able to go forward or not. So, that's something we practice daily, honestly, through practice and what we're doing and in our game management meetings. So there was no surprise or hesitation or and there was none of that, no hesitation. And you could just see our kids too. We're like, whatever, okay, here we go, another play, another opportunity.
For both of you, just what you can say about the ride to get to where you are. You heard Coach Franklin talk about how this is a family and how they've worked together throughout this entire season, that they could play in any decade of Penn State football. What can you say to being a part of this family and riding to this point right now and having a historic win in the college football playoff?
Go ahead.
I think, that you could get really deep in the answer here. First, just to speak of the tradition of this place, to have football as long as this place has had it, to have this stadium the way it is, and to do something that's never been done here, it's pretty freaking rare. And it's pretty cool to be a part of it. The comment that he made about being part of a family, that's totally true. And, I feel like just a spoke in the flywheel that he's created here. The offensive coordinator is an important position, but he doesn't get enough credit for what he's done here consistently, honestly. And I feel like I'm just a spoke in that process. I'm blessed to be a part of it. I'm having a ton of fun, but it's an unbelievable experience. All those things he talked about they're real. It's a family. The guys love each other. They're playing for each other. We've had a ton of gritty wins, this year. We've dealt with adversity and responded the right way. And that's what being a competitor is about. And he deserves a ton of credit for creating this program.
Yeah, I would just say that just really blessed. A lot of emotions. Coach and I are coached small college level.
Yep.
Work our way up through. It's been a long journey to get to a place like this in our roles, and just really very thankful for Coach Franklin giving us this opportunity. Both of us, I know we feel the same way, and we've talked about that quite a bit. And just appreciate his leadership, and we just got great staff, so many people around us that work so hard, the players. I've been so impressed with just the work ethic of the kids and how much we demand of them and how much they give us. It's over and over, and this season, it's already been a long season. And they just keep showing up and working, and so it just takes a lot of people, and winning's hard, and it's just been, so a lot of things to it. I feel really, really blessed to be here, very thankful to be here. And there's been a lot of lessons along the way, and I think this team is really kind of been forged by a lot of adversity during games. We've had to come from behind. We've had to be able to, both sides of the ball, or the special teams have had to come up and make a big play that were game-changing. So very complimentary football, and each phase has to have, when they have their opportunity, they got to step up, and they have at different times. And so that's what makes it special. So really excited about where we are, but it's want-to-know mindset, and we just got to continue to learn from the things each week like we did from the last time we played, and just keep getting better. So appreciate it. We are.
Last question is set.
To follow on that, for both of you, first year in the program, to see how many people kind of showed up tonight or today, and especially with what was at stake. What was that like, seeing that from the box? What did that look like? And was there a moment at all during the game that you were able to kind of like turn to the person next to you and kind of just say, okay, this is pretty cool?
I don't know that in the heat of quote-unquote battle that you ever really get to enjoy it, to your point. Me and Tom actually, it's the only time we get to share these moments because like he commented before, we ain't playing in front of these crowds when we were in the Division III playoffs. Even though at Whitewater we had tremendous support and we had great crowds there, but we laugh in the pregame probably is when it happens, and the production that ensues of getting our football team and the whole travel party to and from, and we laugh. I remember on Fridays before we used to play games, we'd show up in the afternoon, we'd have a walkthrough and a meeting, and then we'd go home and be home by dinner. And now it's hotel and this meal and this buffet and then this dessert and then, you know what I mean, and then this meeting. And so there's just so much production and grandeur to it that I don't know that you probably get to enjoy it the way you want, but that's the competitor in us. Like, we're both going to go look at the film and probably be very critical, even though you win the game, you know what I mean? And we're going to be critical of the body of work to get better, because that's kind of what we do. So, no, I haven't spent any time up at the press box. I don't look at Tom and go, "Can you believe this crowd?" You know, it's more whatever. You see him over there getting pissed off about something. You know, "Hey, Tom, it was a pick six." You know what I mean? It's all right. Or I'm frustrated. You know, it's just you're in the moment. So, you know, you're doing your job. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, and I think, there's really not during the game. That's accurate. You don't really have a time where you ever really let up, you know. And so, but we shared some, you know, just a lot of similar experiences in the past, and I think just it makes you appreciate where you are, and especially when you get a chance to do it with a guy that's kind of knows. You know, when you're at different places, you're equipment guy. You know, I'm responsible for certain things. When I was at the smaller college level, I've been high school level for many years, and you appreciate, you know, they got somebody for everything here. You know, in most places, obviously at this high level, but it just makes you really appreciate, you know, this experience that we're all involved in right now. And to me, it's about just not taking any of this for granted, you know. And so we're blessed to be at a place that values football at an extremely high level. Yeah, that creates a lot of expectations, which is what you want. You want to be a place that cares so much about winning and so much about, you know, being able to play at the highest level possible. So, and I think when you have a group of guys that, you know, have been at different places along the way, they bring those experiences with them, you know. So, but we do enjoy each other. We got a great staff to work with, but there's, you know, during the game, there's not a whole lot of time for that, you know, but I will say that when you do what we do and the hours we put in and the families involved and how much is sacrificed by them, you know, it's pretty special. Yeah. And so you really enjoy. That's why these new kickoffs are good. You know, you get a chance to get a big win. Now you can kind of enjoy the rest of the evening here in a different way, maybe because you don't have, you know, to go back and watch the film, you know, within the next 3 or 4 hours. But then when the night's over and you come back tomorrow and get to work. So we're going to enjoy this for sure. Keep getting better, and 1-0 mindset.
Thank you, coaches.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it.
Sticks. A lot of people in this gym. Yeah, there is a lot of people. Take the hood.
As we finish the last couple of things, we've got Dom DeLuca, Nick Singleton, Abdul Carter, Tony Rojas, Drew, and Devon as a special guest. So we'll get rolling here. Raise your hand and we'll get a mic to you. We'll start with Rich. Please identify which player you're asking a question for, and let's not do a million for all of yous. If if we can try to keep it to individual players or players.
Okay, could I do this for Abdul and Tony?
Yep.
What have you seen from Dom DeLuca in practice this year, and why do you think he has a knack for making big plays at big moments?
Yeah, I'll start. I'd say just he's the same person every day since I stepped in on campus, whether it's just leading on the younger guys like me and Tay and stuff like that. But I'd say just the attitude he brings to practice every day, the positive attitude, and just his work ethic, it just all matches together, and I feel like it all gets put together.
Yeah, ever since I got here, from year 1 to year 3, ask anybody in the building, Dom does everything right. He always does his job right, 100% effort, always in the right position. He just does everything right, and he makes plays on the field because of that. All of it shows.
We'll go to Allie in the back left here, and then we'll come up to Johnny.
Dom, this is for you. Your high school career, so decorated. You went through a lot of adversity right before you came to Penn State. When you look at this moment, you walked on, you earned a scholarship, became a captain. A game like this is history. Have you had any time to kind of think about how special this is, being able to play here at Penn State and have the game like this in the college football playoff?
Not really. I mean, I'm just trying to celebrate with my brothers, go 1-0 each week. I mean, just being able to come out with a win for the first round of playoffs is huge, and I'm just excited to celebrate with my brothers.
Johnny and then Tyler.
This is for Devon. Devon, the defensive performance today, how you guys dominated the quarterback, the offense as a whole, kind of a little rattled there. How would you describe it, being out there, and how you guys were able to dominate and take over?
I believe it was a mentality. At the top of the week, we spoke a lot about going in and being exactly who we are, and not letting the moment define us, but defining the moment. And I think we did that well. I think our defense really went in very level-headed. We understood that SMU was a really good team with a really good quarterback that can make some explosive plays, especially on his feet, moving around. And I think we came in and we played and adjusted to that well. I mean, with spectacular performances like from Tony Rojas, Dom DeLuca, Abdul, the list goes on. That just is just a testament to us and how we approach everything throughout the week, especially Coach Allen's approach to this week, especially coming off of the Big Ten championship, adjusting to the tempo and playing through that very well. I think we just did a great job in our preparation and really examining and looking at what we did a couple weeks ago in the Big Ten championship and improving on that.
We will go to Tyler and then Max.
Thank you. Question for Drew and Nick. When it comes to Nick and Katron as a tandem, do you feel like you guys are playing your best football this 2024 season, the most effective? And if that is the case, to be peaking going into the playoffs, what does that mean for this team?
Yeah, I feel like me and Katron, we always say we the best backfield in the nation. We stand on it. You gotta give shout out to the O-line. They had a good job today, doing what they doing, and I feel like we just keep going with it. Keep practicing hard, taking one day at a time, just find the little stuff we can just get better at.
Yeah, I think we talk about it as an offense. We want to be crescendoing. I'm not even saying that right, but we'll go with that. But yeah, so we want to be peaking at this time. That's how we want to operate, and just really just build a momentum into each game. And like Nick said, like they're the best backfield in America, and I truly believe that. And that goes. It starts up front at the end of the day for us in both the run and pass game. But when you have guys like Nick and Katron on the team, they make a lot of guys miss. So it just really helps our offense flow as a whole.
Tony in the middle. First off, what did you see on film leading up to this game that meant you guys might have been able to turn into 3 interceptions off Jennings? And as a quick second point, did you feel like you were playing running back again on your pick 6?
Yeah, like we said, we knew the quarterback scrambles a lot, and we couldn't all pursuit to the ball because he makes second plays out of nothing. Whenever he's getting out of the pocket, he makes, that's what he's known for, is making plays and just passing downfield. So I kind of knew that. I had a running back man, knew how to follow him, and then I was just in the right spot at the right time. And, yeah, I felt like I was running back. Felt good again, so, yeah.
We'll go Mason and then, Seth and then Mason.
Devon, right here, center. You talked about mentality on defense. Knowing that this was your last home game, how did that kind of play into your mentality? And to win your last home game on a stage like this in the college football playoff, What did that mean to you?
I mean, it meant the world, to be honest with you. You know, I wanted to go out with a bang. I mean, I truly believe that we are the best defense in the country by far, by any means. And I think today was just another opportunity for us to show that. And there's no other way that I wanted to go out of Beaver Stadium than to put on a defensive performance like we did. So, I mean, 2 pick sixes, and we stopped it. We stopped the run. We stopped the pass game. We shut everything down. So I truly thank everybody on defense and on offense for everything that they did, just because it made the moment so special and just made it just an incredible moment to leave off of in Beaver Stadium.
Drew over here. Obviously, the offense kind of started a little slow today. Was it something that the defense was doing particularly, or was it a matter of just the offense kind of locking in internally to kind of flip that switch going on?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it with the O-line, and really we talked about it as an offense. It really comes down to our process and worry about us. And at the end of the day, we weren't executing the play calls that were there. I mean, I had, plenty of missed throws in that first quarter that I need to hit and get the ball to the playmakers in space and allow them to show off their abilities. So yeah, it's something that we just have to, get better at, and we emphasize it all the time. We just have to go out and execute it. But at the end of the day, there was nothing that they were doing that was stopping us. It was more of, just little things here and there that allowed, them to make plays. We always talk about it on offense. 11 guys have to be right for the play to work, and on defense, like really only one guy has to be right for to stop the play. So we always have to be on the same page, and it comes down to communication. But we'll get those things fixed, no doubt about it.
We'll go Mike, and then we'll go to John.
Dom, 3 quarterback questions. One, what did your high school career playing quarterback, does that help you as a linebacker? What did you see out of Jennings as a quarterback leading up? And have you offered the offense your services as a backup?
I mean, growing up a quarterback, just being able to read defenses was a huge part for me. And now being on the defensive side is helping me play better and being able to read quarterbacks better, being able to read offenses better, identifying formations and what plays I get from each formation. And then, I have told Nick, I think, a couple of times that if he needs me to step in for him, I'm here.
We'll go John and then Dave.
Hey, Dom, right here on your left. After the game, James Franklin called Penn State a true college football program, talked about guys wanting to sacrifice for one another, wanted to see other guys do well. When you've got a program full of coaches and players who sacrifice for one another, who want to see each other do well, how big of an impact does that have on this team's success?
I mean, it's huge just being able to do that with your brothers and sacrificing for your brothers. I mean, everyone doing their job at a high level. We always talk about taking money or taking food off of someone else's plate if you don't do your job. So I feel like us doing that and being able to make those sacrifices, either it's sacrifice yourself in the gap for the D-line to make a play, take a double team off a D-lineman for them to make a play. I mean, anything you can do to help the other team, help us, it's huge.
Go David, then Daniel.
Drew, everybody, the goalpost gets set a little different for everybody, of course, but you guys have been asked ad nauseum about when is Drew going to win the big one? When is Coach Franklin? When is Penn State going to win the big one? Does this count as a big one to you? And do you feel like today made a statement about what Penn State is moving forward in the playoff?
I mean, honestly, I don't care what anybody says about me or my team or my coach. At the end of the day, our process is our process, and at the end of the day, the only opinions that matter are the ones that are in Lash building day to day and really know what's going on behind the scenes and that sort of thing. And in terms of, Coach Franklin, he gets a lot of criticism that's undeserved, and he's done a lot more than people give him credit for. And obviously, winning his 100th game, it's special to be a part of that and be the team that was able to deliver that 100th game win to him, and to have it on a stage like the playoffs and at home in Beaver Stadium. It's truly special, and we don't take these moments for granted. But at the end of the day, I mean, me personally, I don't care what anybody says about me from the outside, just because I saw a quote like, "Why would you take criticism from somebody that you would never take advice from?" And that kind of sticks for me. Like, there's a lot of people out there that really don't know what goes on behind the scenes, and it is what it is, and it's part of playing at a place like Penn State. But it's again sticking to our guns and sticking to our process.
Last two, we're going to go Daniel and Mark.
Drew, when you look at leading this offense, right over here, when you look at leading this offense, with the game starts out with 2 defensive touchdowns and then another interception that leads to a touchdown, just what you can say about the defensive side of the ball and what these guys did to help you out on offense in this game and throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, in this game specifically, they definitely got us going because obviously, like you said, we didn't have a great start offensively. And, you know, to be going up 14-0 and offensively, we really didn't do anything up to that point was huge. And that allows guys like Abdul and Devon just to pin their ears back and, you know, rush the quarterback because they're going to be, you know, just more throw happy just in general because they're down in the game. And that really got us going as an offense. Obviously, the third interception set us up in a really good spot to, you know, go in and finally get in the end zone offensively. And, you know, they've had our backs throughout the whole year. And you know, it makes it. They have made me a lot better throughout this year, just going against the best defense in America. And I'm just glad that I get to go against them every day out in practice and not against them out on the field in a game setting.
Last question to Mark.
Nick, Coach Franklin said after your touchdown run, you came up to him, I'm going to quote him, what you said, I'm a violent, and then he cut it off. What statement were you trying to make with that run and then after it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna repeat what he said, but you know, just that's what my game is. You know, I'm trying to be more of a physical runner. You know, run through someone where the extra man's there. You know, Coach Sider always says, just leave one for us. You know, everybody can block it up, then just leave one for us. Which that was my mentality at the 1 yard line. So and plus just getting in there, helping my team, just trying to go win. So yeah.
Thanks, fellas.